Hi, everyone, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which we are here to help develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult. How is everybody doing out there today or evening time, whatever time it is, wherever you are on the planet? I hope that you all are having a beautiful day or evening, and I hope that you all have read or you're planning to read for at least 30 minutes today. All right, let's get started. Y'all, I'm so excited. I'm about to tell you in a minute why. Oh, yeah. Another reading aloud strategy is simple. Before you go to choose your book, keep in mind you want to find a book that is interesting, okay? Especially if this is your first time reading aloud, make sure that you choose a book that is something that is going to keep your child's attention, all right? So usually what I would suggest is that you choose a funny book, all right? So choose something that's funny, something that, is adventurous or exciting so that they will be interested and continue to be engaged in the reading process, and which in turn will make them want to read even more in the future. Bam! Y'all like that? Quick, straight to the point. Now, another reason why I'm so excited. Let me show you all something that I got. This beauty in the mail. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to sink my eyes into this. Oh my goodness. Dr. Joy DeGrew, she is awesome, you guys. Awesome, okay? Go to YouTube and look her up, all right? Does great videos talking about this very subject right here. Post-traumatic slave syndrome, all right? America's legacy of enduring injury and healing. Awesome. All right. And I want you guys to be excited too when it comes to getting books. All right. Because, hey, that's part of what I do. All right. I'm a reading motivator. I want to get you all pumped about reading. Okay. Because when I was a kid, I was not reading books. You know what I was doing? Staring at TV a whole lot. I played outside a lot too, but I did watch a whole lot of TV. But if you asked me what was coming on television on different days, I could tell you that because I was reading the TV guide. Well, I guess that constitutes as reading, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. All right. But, yeah. So nevertheless, that's what I'm saying. The whole point is I'm trying to get you all enthused, excited about reading. All right. And let's get started with our book for today. All right, Stanley's Party. You guys see that title, right? And what is Stanley doing? Y'all, this is you're pretty sure you could tell this is Stanley, right? He's the one in the middle. He's leading the way, right? In the little line dancing. Is that what they're doing? Oh my goodness. Written by Linda Bailey, illustrated by Bill Slavin or Slavin. Please forgive me if I said your name incorrectly. And what are your predictions? What do you think this story is about to be about? Obvious, right? A party, right? Stanley's party. But wait a minute. These are dogs and they're like partying. And then on top of it, they're inside the house. And it doesn't look like things are in order, does it? Nah. So let's find out what's going on with Stanley's party, all right? All right. Stanley knew he wasn't supposed to sit on the couch, but his people went out a lot, and they never came home before midnight. So one night Stanley began to wonder what would happen if he sat on the couch while they were gone. Just for a minute. He put one paw on the couch and waited. Nothing happened. He put a second paw up. Slowly, Stanley dragged his whole huge body onto the couch. He sat there nervously listening. He waited for someone to yell, "Stanley, off the couch!" But no one said a thing. So Stanley lay down. The couch was more comfortable than he'd ever dreamed. Stanley stretched out his legs. He put his paws up on the cushions. He sprawled and squirmed and sniffed the leather trim. The couch was wonderful. All that evening, Stanley lolled and lounged on the couch. Just before midnight, he remembered his people. He straightened the cushions, brushed away dog hair, and hopped off the couch. When his people came home, he was waiting at the door. "Good dog, Stanley," they said. "Ruff," said Stanley, wagging his tail. Stanley felt terribly clever. He was so pleased with himself that the next night he decided to try something new. He had noticed that when his people sat on the couch, they often listened to music. Stanley had seen how they got it. He pushed some buttons with his nose. A moment later, music filled the room. Stanley was entranced. His body began to sway. His feet began to move. Yeah. Soon Stanley was waltzing around the room. When the music changed, he tried a cha-cha and a tango. He even did a bit of ballet. Stanley danced up a storm that night. He didn't stop until just before midnight. Then he turned off the music and tidied the couch. When his people came home, he was sitting on the living room floor. "Good dog, Stanley," they said. "Bark, barkity, bark, bark," said Stanley. On the third night, Stanley broke into the fridge. It wasn't hard. He just pushed his nose firmly into the rubber seal, and the door popped open. There was a lasagna in there that he'd been watching for days. It didn't last long. After it was gone, Stanley licked the plate clean and put it in the sink. When his people came home, he was lying on his dog bed. "Good dog, Stanley," they said. "Burp," said Stanley. Uh-oh. What do you think is about to happen next? Stanley couldn't believe his new life. Now, he didn't mind at all when his people went out. As soon as they left, he sat on the couch. He sashayed and shimmied to the music. He nibbled and noshed from the fridge. "I am having so much fun," thought Stanley. But after a couple of weeks, he realized that something was still missing. What do you think? Is he talking about? What is still missing? And one day when Stanley's people took him to the dog park, he figured it out. He was tired of having fun alone. Stanley trotted over to his best friend Alice. "How'd you like to come over to my house this evening?" said Stanley in dog talk. "What for?" asked Alice. "We could sit around on the couch," said Stanley. "Put on some music, do a little dancing, maybe have a snack." "Sounds great," said Alice. "What sounds great?" asked Oscar, coming up to join them. Before Stanley knew it, he had invited Oscar too, and Maybelle and Digger and Gassy Jack. Uh-oh. He invited 2 more dogs on the way home, and all the dogs he invited talked to other dogs, and those dogs talked to other dogs, and those dogs talked to still other dogs. Do you think this party is about to get out of hand? Let's find out. That night, right after Stanley's people left, the dogs began to show up. At first, they came in 2s and 3s. Then they arrived in packs. Some of them were Stanley's friends, but a lot more were strangers. Stanley wasn't worried. The more the merrier, he said. It wasn't long before the house was jammed with every kind of dog you can imagine. Shaggy dogs, bald dogs, dogs with wrinkles, dogs with fleas, humongous dogs, wincy dogs, dogs with floppy ears. They filled the rooms, they packed the stairs, they flowed out onto the porch and lawn, drooling dogs, dainty dogs, dogs that needed a bath. Dum 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Ah! Anyone hungry? Asked Stanley, popping the fridge door open. Dogs poured into the kitchen. Help yourselves, said Stanley. Soon the fridge was bare. Uh-oh. Anyone care for some music? Asked Stanley. He put on some rock and roll. The dogs went wild. They stomped, they boogied, they bebopped and jived. They twisted and jitterbugged and mashed. They danced until their paws were sore. They danced till the whole house shook. And who do you think danced hardest of all? You've guessed it, Stanley. It was the best doggone party a dog ever had. It was also the only night ever that Stanley's people came home early. At first, they didn't say anything. Then they said together very loud, "Stanley, bad dog." Yikes. All the dogs, except Stanley, had to go home. Stanley helped his people clean up. It took 2 whole days. After that, whenever Stanley's people went out, they took Stanley with them. Stanley didn't mind. He went out a lot. And he never came home before midnight. As for the party, well, this all happened a long time ago. But in Stanley's neighborhood, the dogs still talked about that night. And the dogs that were there told other dogs, and those dogs told still other dogs. The story spread until dogs all over the country heard it. Then dogs all over the world. And now wherever dogs gather from Turamura to Timbuktu, they tell the story of Stanley's party. If you don't believe me, ask your dog. The end. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that story. I had to look at my time because I record my stories for only 15 minutes, you guys. So I'm trying to get them longer. But I hope you guys enjoyed that story as much as I did. And I hope you all learned a lesson too. Please, please do not sneak and do stuff when your parents are away. And in particular, you know I'm talking to those older kids. You know what I'm talking about, right? I know the older teenagers can relate to this story, okay? All right, you guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to keep reading at least 30 minutes a day. Happy reading.